Yesterday, we called out the most overrated K-dramas of this era. Today, we're giving flowers to the ones that deserve them. Starting the underrated list with a 2026 drama that landed with almost no fanfare and deserved so much more than the silence it received. The Wonderfools did not have the marketing budget. It did not have the A-list casting that generates buzz before a single episode airs. It did not have a high-concept premise that you can summarize in one sentence for a trailer. What it had was something rarer and more valuable: an ensemble of characters written with genuine depth, relationships that felt authentic rather than constructed, and the kind of slow-building emotional storytelling that rewards viewers who stay with it. This is the drama you recommend to someone who says they want to watch something that feels real. The friendships in The Wonderfools don't feel like actors performing friendship. They feel like people who actually know each other, who have history and shorthand and wounds that haven't fully healed. The drama understands that the most interesting human dynamics are never clean. People are complicated, relationships are complicated. And The Wonderfools doesn't try to simplify any of that. The emotional payoff this drama delivers, if you give it the patience it asks for, is significant. There are moments in the back half that will catch you completely off guard in the best possible way. You'll be watching a quiet scene, thinking everything is fine, and then suddenly realize you're holding your breath. That's craft. That's writing that respects the audience enough to earn its emotional moments rather than manufacture them. In a year full of high-budget productions fighting loudly for attention, The Wonderfools spoke quietly and said something true. Not enough people were listening. Go fix that. Ji Chang-wook, Shin Hyasun, a reunion romance set on the stunning landscape of Jeju Island. This should have been one of the most talked about dramas of its season. Instead, Welcome to Samdulri aired to an audience that was smaller than it deserved by a significant margin. And that is one of the genuine injustices of recent K-drama discourse. Here's what this drama understood that most romance dramas get wrong. The most powerful love stories are not about strangers falling for each other. They're about people who already know each other completely, who have shared history and old wounds and complicated feelings, choosing to come back together with full knowledge of what loving each other costs. That's not the easy romance. That's the hard romance. And it's infinitely more interesting to watch. Welcome to Samdulri took that premise and handled it with intelligence and restraint. The history between the leads was revealed gradually and honestly. You understood why they had separated, you understood what it cost both of them, and you understood why coming back together was genuinely difficult rather than just inevitable. Ji Chang-wook gave one of the most controlled performances of his career here. No theatrics, no dramatic gestures, just a man carrying something heavy and not quite knowing how to put it down. The Jeju setting was used with real intention. This wasn't a drama that just happened to be set in a beautiful location. The landscape of Jeju, its pace and its separation from mainland life, was woven into the emotional texture of the story. Characters breathed differently there, felt things differently there. The setting did work that most drama locations don't even attempt. If you skipped this one when it aired, you have a treat waiting for you. Nobody woke up in 2024 thinking that a drama set in a tutoring academy was going to be one of the year's most quietly excellent romance stories. That's probably exactly why Midnight Romance and Hagwon didn't find the audience it deserved. The premise didn't excite people enough to click. And that's a shame, because what was inside that unassuming package was genuinely special. The drama understood something about adult romance that K-drama doesn't always get right. When you're past a certain age, falling in love is complicated by history, by past relationships, by career pressures, by the knowledge of how badly things can go wrong. The leads in Midnight Romance and Hagwon carried that weight in a way that felt recognizably true. Their attraction wasn't just chemistry, it was two people who knew better than to fall and falling anyway. That specific kind of reluctant romance, done well, is devastating. The Hagwon setting actually served the story, rather than just providing a backdrop. The pressures of the Korean education system, the students, the parents, the impossible expectations, created a world that the romance had to navigate around and through, and that navigation gave the central relationship real obstacles that didn't feel contrived or manufactured. What struck most viewers who found this drama, and there weren't enough of them, was how emotionally intelligent the writing was. It didn't over-explain feelings. It didn't underline every emotional beat with dramatic music. It trusted you to feel things without being told what to feel. In a genre that can often be heavy-handed, that restraint was genuinely refreshing. This drama deserves a second wave of discovery, and I hope this video helps start one. Period romance in K-drama lives and dies on one thing above everything else: the tension between the leads, the push and pull, the power dynamics, the moments where feelings crack through the armor that both characters have built around themselves. Get that right, and audiences will forgive almost anything else. Get it wrong, and no amount of beautiful costumes and palace sets will save you. My royal nemesis got it right. Completely, electrically, undeniably right. The central dynamic of this drama had a charge to it from the very first episode. Two characters who are supposed to be adversaries, who have every political and personal reason to be adversaries, discovering that the only person who truly sees them, who matches them intellectually, and refuses to be diminished by them, is the person they're supposed to destroy. That's not a new story, but the execution here was sharp enough to make it feel fresh. What separated My Royal Nemesis from other period romances in this era was its female lead. She was not a passive participant in her own story. She was not waiting to be rescued or chosen or saved. She understood the political landscape she was operating in, and she moved through it with strategy and intention. Her feelings for the male lead developed alongside her own ambitions, and sometimes conflicted with them, and the drama was honest about that conflict rather than conveniently resolving it. The drama deserved a much bigger audience than it found. In years to come, I think people will discover My Royal Nemesis the same way they discovered other underrated period dramas, through word of mouth, through recommendation, through someone insisting they just have to watch it. Consider this video that recommendation. An Bo-hyun playing against type. Park Ji-hyun holding her own against him at every turn. A buddy cop dynamic built on genuine conflict rather than manufactured antagonism. A mystery plot that was actually constructed well enough to sustain interest. Flex X Cop had everything it needed to be a breakout drama of 2024, and instead it quietly aired, got modest appreciation from the people who watched it, and then got buried under everything else that was competing for attention at the same time. The Chaebol meets detective premise could have been played entirely for comedy. A fish-out-of-water story about a rich man discovering how ordinary people live, softened by charm and resolved by romance. That version of this drama would have been fine. Forgettable, but fine. Instead, Flex X Cop took the premise seriously enough to give both leads real character work. An Bo-hyun's Chaebol character was not just a comedy device. There was genuine interiority there, a man using wealth and charm as armor that the drama slowly and believably dismantled. Park Ji-hyun's detective was not softened by the romance. She remained principled and exacting and occasionally furious in ways that felt completely consistent with who the character was from episode 1. The crime cases were constructed with enough complexity to be genuinely engaging rather than just backdrop for the central relationship. The pacing was tight in a way that a lot of 2024 dramas weren't. And the chemistry between the leads was the kind you can't manufacture, the kind where you watch them react to each other and believe it completely. This drama deserved so much more than it received. If you like smart, well-paced genre dramas with leads who actually challenge each other, Flex X Cop is essential viewing. Let's talk about the Disney Plus problem in K-drama. The platform has consistently produced strong Korean content, but its lower profile compared to Netflix means that strong content routinely gets buried. Audiences who don't specifically seek out Disney Plus K-dramas simply never find it. A Shop for Killers is the most painful example of this problem, and it has been underappreciated for long enough. This drama was a thriller, a real one. Not a romance with thriller elements. Not a drama that occasionally remembered it was supposed to be tense. A genuine, constructed, relentlessly paced thriller that understood how to build and sustain tension across multiple episodes without releasing it too early. The setup pulled you in immediately. A young woman arrives at her uncle's house after his sudden death, intending to sort out his affairs, and discovers that her uncle was not who she thought he was. What follows is a story that peels back layers in exactly the right order, giving you enough to keep you engaged while withholding enough to keep you guessing about the full picture. Lee Dong-wook was exceptional in this drama in a way that deserves more attention than it has received. He played a character of genuine moral complexity, someone whose choices in the past cast shadows over the present in ways that the drama revealed with real craft. His performance had a controlled quality that made every crack in that control feel significant. Most importantly, A Shop for Killers earned its emotional stakes through the relationship at its center. The niece and uncle dynamic, explored partly through memory and flashback, gave the action sequences real weight. You weren't watching people fight. You were watching someone fight for the truth about someone they loved. That's a different experience entirely. Most Sejik dramas, most period dramas anywhere in the world, use political intrigue as decoration. The palace scheming and the factional conflict exist to create obstacles for the romance, to give the leads reasons to be separated and then reunited, to provide dramatic backdrops for the emotional moments. The politics are furniture. Captivating the King treated the politics as the story. The romance was the element that gave the political conflict its emotional dimension, not the other way around. And that structural choice elevated this drama above almost everything else in its genre in 2024. Jo Jung-suk's King was one of the most carefully constructed characters in recent K-drama memory. He was not the typical, morally pure male lead who happens to have power. He was a king, which means he was calculating, sometimes ruthless, capable of separating personal feeling from political necessity in ways that made him genuinely difficult to read. The audience was never entirely sure if they could trust him, and that uncertainty was maintained with discipline all the way through the drama. The female lead entered this world not as a passive object of the king's attention, but as an active participant in the political landscape. Her intelligence was the thing that caught his attention. Not her appearance, not her background, but her mind. And the drama built their relationship on that foundation, which meant every scene between them had real intellectual as well as emotional charge. This was a drama for viewers who wanted more than beautiful costumes and a love story. It was a drama for viewers who wanted to think. And perhaps that's why it didn't find the wide audience it deserved. Not enough people were looking for that specific thing. But for those who were, Captivating the King delivered completely. I want to talk about why strong girl Namsoon was dismissed by a section of the K-drama audience, because understanding the dismissal is important to understanding why it was wrong. This drama was loud. It was absurdist. Its internal logic operated according to rules that the real world doesn't share. The comedy was broad and unapologetic. The action was deliberately heightened, and for viewers who came to it expecting the tonal register of a realistic drama, the experience was jarring enough that they bounced off it before giving it a real chance. That's a shame, because underneath the deliberately chaotic surface of strong girl Namsoon was something genuinely radical for K-drama. A female protagonist who was physically dominant, emotionally fearless, and completely unbothered by the conventional expectations placed on women in the genre. She didn't apologize for her strength. She didn't soften it to make others comfortable. She just was who she was, fully and without reservation, and the drama celebrated her for it. The 3 generations of supernaturally strong women at the center of this story represented a kind of female power fantasy that K-drama rarely commits to with this level of conviction. It wasn't treated ironically or undercut by the narrative. These women were the heroes, the most capable people in any room they entered, and the drama loved them for it. Was the pacing perfect? No. Were some subplots too long? Yes. But the heart of strong girl Namsoon, the sheer joyful energy of its premise, and the unapologetic confidence of its central character was something genuinely special that not enough people gave the time to appreciate. The viewers who found it understood immediately. The viewers who didn't miss out on something that would have made them very happy. Action dramas occupy a particular place in K-drama criticism. They're appreciated but rarely taken seriously as art. They're reviewed with a different, lower set of expectations. They win genre awards, not prestige ones. The assumption is that an action drama, however well made, is fundamentally lesser than a drama that prioritizes emotion or character or social commentary. Bloodhounds is the strongest argument against that assumption that K-drama has produced in years. Yes, the action choreography in this drama was extraordinary. Some of the most impressive physical filmmaking in any Korean production, drama, or film of 2023. The fight sequences were genuinely cinematic in their construction. Not just impressive to watch, but built with real spatial intelligence, with an understanding of how bodies move through space and how violence has consequence and cost. The physicality that the leads brought to this drama was exceptional and clearly the result of serious preparation. But here's what made Bloodhounds more than a great action drama. The story it built around that action had moral weight. The loan shark system it depicted, predatory lenders targeting desperate, ordinary people, extracting everything they have and then everything they don't, was not background. It was the reason the action meant anything. Every fight scene was connected to a real human cost. Every villain represented a real system. The drama was angry about something true, and that anger gave it a dimension that pure action spectacle never reaches. The friendship between the 2 leads was developed with genuine care. These weren't just partners in action. They were 2 people whose bond felt earned and real and worth protecting. When the stakes rose in the final episodes, you felt them physically because you cared about what was being risked. Bloodhounds deserve to be in the conversation about the best dramas of 2023 in any category. It was treated as a genre exercise when it was something considerably more. My Mister did not air in 2024. It aired in 2018. It is on this list because 2024 was the year it finally found the audience it had always deserved. And because the story of how that happened and why it took so long says something important about how we discover and value K-drama. For years, My Mister existed in a specific corner of K-drama fandom, not a small corner. The people who had seen it were passionate and devoted in the way that people are about things they consider sacred. But it was a difficult drama to recommend casually. It was slow. It was heavy. It asked for it. What they found was something that no amount of description can fully prepare you for. IU's performance in this drama is the greatest acting performance in K-drama history. I am not qualifying that statement. Not greatest female performance. Not greatest performance of her generation. Greatest performance. The way she inhabits this character, a young woman carrying a weight of circumstances so heavy it has made her almost entirely silent, is acting at a level of precision and truth that very few performers in any medium in the world achieve. She communicates an entire internal world through stillness, through the way she stands, through the specific quality of her silences. It is extraordinary to watch. But My Mister is not just IU's performance. The drama surrounding her is constructed with the same level of care. Lee Soon-kyun, in a role that now carries additional emotional weight, was equally extraordinary. The supporting characters were written as fully realized human beings, rather than functions. The drama's understanding of ordinary Korean life, of middle-aged exhaustion, of the weight of unspoken things, of what it means to be seen by someone when you have spent your whole life being invisible, was rendered with a specificity and honesty that is simply rare. My Mister will not be comfortable to watch. It will sit on you. It will follow you out of the room when you try to take a break from it. But it is the most human, most emotionally honest, most completely realized drama on this entire list. On any list. And the fact that it took 6 years and a viral clip for it to receive the recognition it always deserved is the defining, underrated story of this entire era. If you have not watched My Mister, I genuinely envy you. You get to experience about what K-drama can do. And there it is, My Mister at number 1. And if you've seen it, you already knew. You've known since episode 1. You've been waiting for someone to say it out loud on a platform where people would actually hear it. Consider it said, if you haven't watched My Mister yet. I meant every word I said about it. Clear your schedule, prepare yourself emotionally, and come back to the comments afterwards because I want to know exactly which scene broke you first. Now, if you missed yesterday's video, the overrated side of this list, the link is right there. Watch it after this and tell me which list surprised you more. And if this channel gave you something today, a new drama to watch, a take that made you think, a comment section argument you're about to start, hit that subscribe button. We do this every day and every week, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.